Their wedding was announced, then the public denounced said wedding. Yep, in Sunday's New York Times wedding announcement for Carol Ann Riddell, I think that's on the right, and John Partilla, obviously on the left, the writer left in a few ugly facts, like the part where the couple were married to other people at the time that they met. But it didn't stop the bride, who seemed to embrace the love conquers all angle to this tawdry affair. Says the 44-year-old former WNBC anchor of her former ex, and most likely her future ex, quote, "I will always feel terribly about the pain I caused my ex-husband. It was not what I ever would have wished on him. My kids are going to look at me and know that I am flawed and not perfect, but also deeply in love. We're going to have a big, noisy, rich life with more love and more people in it." So yeah, totally be happy for us. I'm sure the marriage will be every bit as successful as this man's hurtling career. That was pretty awesome. All right, hey, Baker, is it a good idea to proclaim that you ditched your previous marriage in a wedding announcement?
Yeah, what are these people thinking? Hey, there's so much wrong with this story, and it's sad, too. I mean, it's a very sad story. But, you know, first of all, they met in a pre-kindergarten classroom where, of course, all romance blooms. Right?
Yes.
You walk in with your kid, he's covered in snot. You look across the room, you see a lady over there. Yeah. She's got her kid who's screaming and crap in his drawers. And you look in each other's eyes. And you read about these people. He's a triathlete. He's a powerhouse. And she's a petite dynamo. And you just think, these are the last two people I'd ever want to meet.
Yeah, you know what? And they saved their exes from lives of interminable misery. Am I right?
Oh, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that all of you were so surprised by this wedding announcement, because I am a regular reader of the New York Times Liberals in Love section. And it used to be define, you know, what everyone wanted in New York Times announcements. Now they are all totally trashy. It must be included in the wedding announcement that the couple was having premarital sex before marrying. Why you would want that in your wedding announcement, I find a little strange, but this is totally par for the course.
Here's Joe, here's my theory. These two people are fame whores. They didn't care that this would make them look bad because they were in the New York Times wedding announcement. So they were like, "Oh, I don't care if it embarrasses our families. I don't care. I'm in the paper."
Yeah, it's to me what was shocking was that to read a New York Times wedding announcement and think like, "Wow, even more narcissism than usual." And Mike's right. It talks about them, the energy. It sounds like they're colliding off the wall and crash. And then you think like, do people know you can decline an interview on a topic that you can say, "No, I don't want to talk about that." But no, they're like, "Hey, all right, what? Someone will write down what I say for a couple minutes. Oh, all right, what do you want to know? Let's go."
That is so true. They could have just said no.
Say no, thanks.
So, would you care to comment on the rumor that you had a sex swing? We get that down there. We get a photo of said swing.
You can say no interview. You can say I don't want to be on Dancing on the Stars.
Yeah.
You can say
I'm not saying
dance
that.
with. You can well you.
But look at these two.
You can decline these, but these two, they're rushing in front to show how wonderful they are. The planet stopped so they can be together.
In '94, Bill, your wedding announcement with the goat, they ran that.
Yes, and I think that's kind of, and I'll tell you what they started doing just before that. Same-sex announcements.
Yeah.
It all goes back to that. Once you open the door a little, then all manner of amoral, adulterous, hellbound people.
By the way,
But you know what? That goat partnership lasted for quite a while.
Well, until the goat died. Their lifespan is only 10 years.
By the way, can you keep the camera on Bill for a minute? Put the camera back on Bill. What the hell is that thing to the left of your shoulder?
That is a in memoriam for my partner.
No, I'm
Buddy.
talking about that stupid snowman.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is. Hey, little guy. Looks like he's a skier, but not a very good one. Buddy Hill for you, snowman.
Okay.
It is impressive that he can ski, period, though. Most can't.
Time to move on, right?
I guess.
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Do you have a comment on the show? Email us. It's redeye@foxnews.com. And to leave a voicemail, my direct line. Call 212-462-5050. Still to come, the halftime report from TV's Andy Levy, a jerk and a half.
Yep.
Tonight's halftime report is sponsored by Tug of War, the contest that pits two sides against each other in a test of brute strength, usually involving a rope. Thanks, Tug of War.
Welcome back. Let's find out if we've gotten anything wrong so far. For that, we go to TV's Andy Levy. So, Andy, what's new?
Well, Greg, first of all, it's pronounced GNU, and it's a computer operating system similar to Unix. It's an acronym for GNU's not Unix. And of course, because the acronym refers to itself, in this case, the G in GNU stands for GNU, it's what's known as a recursive acronym.
Oh, they're following me. God, they don't understand. All right, I was going to walk off.
You were trying to get away. You were trying to get away, weren't you?
What?
There's no escape.
There is no escape.
Nope. Don't Ask, Don't Tell repealed. Greg, you asked Mike if this deal is historical, that it didn't seem historical. Probably because it's not historical, it's historic.
Ah,
Yeah. It didn't happen in the past, Greg.
really?
Really.
Ask Alexander that.
Right. Mike, you said all the guy in the foxhole cares about is that the guy to his left and his right can aim and reload. And I agree. I don't care if you're gay as long as you can shoot straight.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's why it's historical.
You know, Harry Reid made that joke.
Did he really?
Yeah.
No,
You're stealing material for Harry Reid.
Then I retract it.
Terrible.
I hereby retract it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Too late.
All right. Joe, you said that lesbians' many years of softball practice has honed their grenade throwing skills, and that these are the people we want on the front lines. But women aren't allowed in combat units.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we should change that too.
That's next. Yep.
That's idiotic.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying it's next. And you said this wasn't in Greg's block because he wasn't in the military, and that nobody who wasn't in the military should have had a vote on this. I'm fairly certain one of the principles of our democracy is civilian control over the military.
But all of these people who aren't in the military telling us what is going to work in the military and how the troops work together. I mean, it would be like allowing this table to vote on the choreography of Chicago.
Oh, hear, hear.
Why can't we have diversity? All I've heard, and by the way, I think you'd be very good at the choreography of Chicago.
me.
I retract that comparison. But why can't we have diversity? All my life, you hear how wonderful diversity is. The combat units, the Marines and the Army don't want gays in the military. Why can't they have it that way, and we can have an all-gay division? And with the ice sculptures and the Liza Minnelli and the special
and the
uniforms
answer,
and
why?
the cravats, why does civilians who don't care about the military, and most
because
of them
all you're
hate the
doing is
military.
stereotyping gays. That's all.
Yeah?
That's all you're
I'm
doing.
on red eye.
I know. We don't stereotype
That's our
gays
job.
here. No. We
Well, you know,
stereotype
to Ann's
Bill.
point,
I knew that was coming.
to Ann's point, the cohesion at this table is breaking down because Bill keeps touching my leg.
That's
It
not
was a
Bill.
very receptive leg, I might add.
He thought you
You
were
weren't
go.
backing away, buddy. You were not backing away. You were backing into.
And this is how it works. Marine Corps Commandant General James Amos, who was opposed to the repeal, says, quote, "The Corps will step out smartly to faithfully implement this new policy. I and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps will personally lead this effort, thus ensuring the respect and dignity due all Marines."
Right, I know
That's how it
that
works.
the military follow orders,
Right.
but the people who are promoting this could not care less about the military. They would like to destroy the military.
The military is gonna be just
They absolutely
fine.
would like to, and so it's win-win for them. Either it works,
it's
which it
absolutely.
won't,
The military
or
is
it
going to be
doesn't
just
work, and
fine.
yay, the
I
military's
have
wrecked.
more faith in the men and women in our military than you do, I guess.
Well, why not make them fight? This is like, an Orwell book. Why not make them fight with a chainsaw attached to their left leg? Because I have faith in the men of our
Wait, are you
military.
saying,
They can-
are you saying we
Let's
should have
just
animals
hope-
in the military per
let's-
animal farm?
Just
My favorite
hope
Orwell
the
book?
Germans don't
I like it.
reconstitute an army. When we're putting girls and gays in the military, we are not taking the military seriously.
All right, I'm going to move on, other than that's just utterly ridiculous.
That's
No,
all we've got time for
No,
tonight.
here's the thing. I'm right in the middle here. I'm for the repeal, but I do agree with Ann that most of the people who have a dog in this fight don't care about the military.
No, they hate it.
Yeah. So
All right, fine. I was all for the repeal, and I was in the military. So,
exactly.
So what does that
and
mean?
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
That's why he said most people, not
yes.
you.
I said most people.
I would probably disagree with you that it's most people.
Well, then we'll agree to disagree, and then we'll go have coffee later.
Can we all agree that the biggest lesson to be taken from the Don't Ask, Don't Tell vote was never watch C-SPAN in HD?
Very true.
This was a mistake I made on Saturday.
Grotesque.
Yeah, my eyes still hurt. Gregolog, the DREAM Act dies. Greg, you mocked the name of the bill, and Ann, you agreed. So I'm assuming you all oppose the Uniting and Strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism Act of 2001, right?
Yes.
Okay. That would be the USA Patriot Act.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but we weren't for the acronym just because we support the bill.
All right. I'm just
I
saying.
think they are
I'm just
silly.
Supporting me.
all bills have stupid acronyms.
Hey,
Dream Act for amnesty, when we had a perfectly good word for it, is specifically deceptive. The Patriot Act was at least doing all new stuff.
who was providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism.
Damn straight.
As opposed to amnesty. What Americans know and hate. Let's give it a fake name now. It's like abortion. Now it's choice.
Greg, apologize to Baltimore.
Sorry, Baltimore.
You called it drug dealing school.
All right. Did I?
Yeah, it's out of context.
Yeah.
God, I barely remember that segment.
It actually was not out of context.
He also called Tennessee Sewer Academy, which that's offensive.
And also, Greg, you asked a question. American citizens can enlist in the Army for 2 years. I think it's more in other branches. The Marine Corps has a 4-year minimum, I think.
Okay.
But you can, yeah, Army's fine with 2 years. Michael Moore says a WikiLeaks cable claiming Sicko was banned in Cuba isn't true. Mike, you said the thing is that State Department cables aren't always accurate. They can be observations. Isn't that the thing with all of this WikiLeaks stuff? Everybody's treating everything in these cables like they're gospel truth.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's been one of the problems here. It's not a perfect world. It's not black or white. You've got a lot of people out there that are having conversations and talking to sources. They're reporting back what they're hearing. They're not providing a lot of editing for the most part. They're just saying, this is what we're hearing. Here you go.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. And Jesse Walker at Reason magazine may have found the answer to this. He notes that in 2007, a Cuban dissident doctor wrote an editorial predicting that Cuba would ban the movie, and then some people misread that as saying that they did ban the movie, and he thinks that might be the story that the cable writer was erroneously passing on.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Well, Saturday Night Live had it right then when they portrayed WikiLeaks as TMZ.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the head of Giuliani with his little bar, it was all just
Yeah.
gossip for people who read The Economist.
Yep. On a personal note, I'd like to point out that Michael Moore called me out personally by name on this. And on Saturday, I tweeted that it looked like he had pretty thoroughly refuted the leaked cable, but of course he has yet to acknowledge that.
Did
You
he
just
Waiting on you.
You're
Waiting
just
on you,
bragging that he
Michael.
called you out by name.
I know. How cool is that, right?
Hey, it's terrible.
New York Times runs worst wedding announcement ever. Mike, you mocked the fact that these two people met at a pre-kindergarten function. In the movie business, we would say they met cute. And that actually leads me to my main point. If this were a movie, everybody would be cheering for these two characters and saying that this was like the most romantic thing ever.
No, they wouldn't be.
No, they absolutely would be.
No,
This
I
would be a
agree.
romantic
The
comedy.
dude would be played by Ben Affleck or
No.
Affleck or whatever.
This would-
Nobody be cheering.
This would be a romantic comedy, and everybody, it would be Hugh Jackman and Reese
Julia
Witherspoon.
Roberts.
Hugh Jackman, are you
They-
crazy?
Jackman.
Right.
Are you crazy?
Andy's right, because the original ending of Fatal Attraction, he gets framed, but they misjudged the audience and didn't realize they weren't going to like Clint Close, so they changed it to where his wife kills her. America's like that.
Yeah.
And just lastly, Joe, you weren't at all shocked at the display of narcissism in the Times wedding announcement section. And I agree with you, but I was shocked that a TV news person would be that narcissistic.
Yes.
Usually such retiring wallflowers.
Yeah, just did not expect that at all.
My favorite quote is when how she described how her soon-to-be husband exploded into the room. He wouldn't just walk in; he would explode.
They make a pill for that, I think.
I think they do.
Yeah. I'm done, by the way.
You certainly are. Coming up, a burrito I had for lunch. It's how I stay thin, people. But first, is it a war on Christmas or is it a war on Christmas? We take a fair and balanced look at the war on Christmas before we agree that there is a war on Christmas.